Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the TI7 Hot TI Tub Machine. I never got it right. I never really could get it right. We're switching over, though. The NA action was insane. Cap, thank you for staying on. Do you feel okay? Do we need a hug or something?
No, I mean, that was a quadcast. I had a ton of fun with that one. There was a lot of interesting things that happened.
We got a little homage to it up there in the
gods.
thing as well.
Charlie and I were sitting in the hotel room watching the stream when you callously erased the one that was actually in the camera shot. We watched you and we were like, that is so disrespectful to NA. That was our contribution to the whiteboard, and you killed it.
There was a shortage of space, you
know?
How
dare you?
Exclamation point.
You left the you could have gotten this back. You
could have killed the grant drawings, for God's sakes. Those don't do anything.
That's true. This quap is a little bit leaving something to be desired.
Is that Grant's quap? That's special.
And then the one below it is both Legion Commander and Sven, depending on his mood.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, they got the plus 522 damage. Was that? He's like really. I think it was higher than that, wasn't it? MSS?
Might have been. I don't know.
It was actually 500. So I saw it above 500.
Yeah. He's a crazy guy.
Yeah, it was super impressive because it looked like his game was going to get totally shut out. But tell me about C. I haven't watched anything.
Lumi, do you want to talk a little bit about the wonder that is C? We talked about it a little bit on the car ride over, and the fact that Faceless are out.
Yeah, the people that or the teams we expected to be on top aren't on top. Faceless is out. That's the big headline. The surprising thing also is Mineski and Fnatic doing well, because coming into the event they were kind of borderline tier 1, tier 2.
Believe Fnatic?
You didn't believe in Fnatic when they were not doing well.
Check my companion right now. Fnatic second place. I believed in Fnatic.
You were the one that complained about them in their game versus Skate Masters.
Yeah,
the Championship Cup team.
They almost lost to a Champions Cup team.
Exactly. And you were not happy with
bad.
that. But my point is, coming into the event, they weren't doing that well.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I'm surprised that they didn't win the group or anything, but they had like pretty good record, like
7-2.
7-2. Yeah.
They were in the final match against TNC to fight for first place.
Right.
Very close. C's been fun. I think other than Faceless, there's no big surprises. I mean, Execration, open qualifier team in the playoffs, is definitely a great run from them, but that was less, I don't think, a big surprise because of their roster and there's more the fact they had to change their roster that put them in the open. So, looking forward to some playoffs to see who's going to get that second slot now.
Yep.
That's the thing really about C is that I think in a lot of ways it's different from NA. Like NA, there's those top couple of teams, and then below that you sort of drop off a lot. Here, I think even down to Happy Feet, who ended up finishing it off 2-7, like pretty much all of those 9 teams could have competed in any one given match and like had a chance to get into the playoffs, which is kind of nuts to me that region still has such strength. I'm not sure what like the upper limit is on that still, because you have all this talent, but rosters have been swapping around a lot, and so they don't have the cohesiveness that you have from some of the other regions, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think cohesion has generally been a lackluster factor in the C region.
This has not been a good year internationally for SCA Dota. That's
right.
I mean, they're the only major region without a direct invite for TI, and that's because an SCA team hasn't done exceedingly well.
Yep.
They've done well maybe regionally, like if you look at Faceless, TNC, but none of the teams have actually done well on the main stage.
But I think this year, for the first time in many years, C is the deepest region. One of the deepest regions. I think China is always the deepest region when it comes to region qualifiers, but I would put C at number 2. In terms of how many top teams.
Yeah, usually you point to Europe, right? As
right,
being
Europe.
One of the deeper pools, but
NA's really
this year.
Deep as well this year.
Yeah, NA has gotten deeper when it's been notoriously shallow.
Right.
We're talking about C teams, deep and shallowness. It's the underwater theme for TI. It's all coming together, guys. We're making it happen. And this is going to be the group standings throughout the whole course of it. TNC, like we had already alluded to, is the direct team through to TI, and now it's going to be Fnatic and Mineski, as well as Clutch Gamers and Execration, playing to see who end up getting those other slots. And it's Fnatic versus Execration first. So we talked a little bit about Fnatic, a little bit about Execration. I think that a lot of people, Execration will have fallen off the radar of a lot of people because they don't have Abed anymore on their team, but they've still got a couple of those people. You know, Nando's there, RR, Raging Potato is obviously, you know, a classic for the region as well. Anything that you and Lumi in particular really like about either of these teams or sticks out to you?
I think starting with Execration, they're a team with a lot of individual skill. Some really fantastic players on there, as well as like a mix of like veterans. Chemo's been one of like I think the top SEA captains. Lumik, as he's also called, he's definitely the guy who kind of pulls everything together. But Raging Potato, he's been around. Mineski, a couple other big SEA teams for a while. He's a very skilled player. Same for Nando. Even going back to the Dota 1 days, he was like one of the famous Dota 1 players in the Philippines. But these are guys who are not very stable with their play. SEA, as Lumi kind of mentioned yesterday, known for throws a bit, and these are two players I think at the core of that issue. Nando and Raging Potato have had some amazing games, and then they've had some games where they'll also do some really questionable things.
Well, I think a lot of their, like for Raging Potato in particular, a lot of the success is built on very like fine line plays, right? Like you just go in, if it happens, you get a double kill. If it doesn't, it looks like a feed. So even to casters and perspectors, or like outside perspective, it looks kind of like 50-50. But I think the success of these players are that they can discern what are the best situation for them to make that play happen. I think yesterday we're comparing like them to Raven/Cuckoo from TNC, that sort of play style.
I remember not so long ago, we were still at Joint Dota. We were comparing, Blitz and I were comparing Raging Potato to like the sexy bambos of the world, you know?
Sure.
Like that really, it looks kind of clowny, but you know, when it works, it looks amazing, and when it doesn't work, it looks just awful.
You'll have to see that. That's what's great about Dota. You know, that's why Envy, everybody loves him. It's the same thing. We're moving from that to Raging Potato now, and a couple other folks on the side of Fnatic. QO, maybe emblematic of that style of play as well, would you guys say?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely the player you're always kind of playing around. You kind of, when he's on your team, you have to build a team around him a bit, I think, and that's what Fnatic have kind of managed to do, I think, better with Ajit than when they had Miracle on the team. As great as play as Miracle was, it just felt like the balance wasn't there. QO definitely a bit hit or miss. He's had some amazing moments going back to like past TIs. I think that that TA game of his when he was playing on the MVP Phoenix team with March, where he just like 1v5 the enemy team, is a game I'll never forget. He's incredibly talented, incredibly aggressive, and definitely a fun player to watch.
I think for when you have players like that, it's actually more important to have like the solid rocks playing alongside, right? Like so March in that example is the rock here.
Who's that here today? Ohio, I guess?
Ohio, yeah. I mean, he generally plays relatively solid. Yeah. And then different teams have different players that allow your Raging Potatoes, your Ravens, you know, to go ham. But if they don't have a good game, you still have some fallback.
Has Ohio been doing well for this qualifier? Because I remember he was one of my favorite players back when, you know, I was just more of a fan, and I was very disappointed with his performance more like recently. Has he been kind of like looking good for this qualifier?
I've seen one Fnatic game.
Okay.
To be honest,
it looked bad.
We haven't had that much Fnatic on the mainstream when I've been here, so
Okay.
with all the games going, you know, you don't really get a chance to watch them all. So honestly, I don't know. Lumi, you guys
not as good as back in like the Orange days where he was playing the Mag and the Prophet off lanes, but those are some high standards to live up to. But like still solid enough. Like he's not like bringing down his team or anything. Like he's always the guy you could look to if he like, okay, we need a Blink Dagger by this time. He's gonna have it. So he is a good fallback.
And I think that the other thing too is that like they're here, you know, no matter what it is, no matter how their play has been each individually, they've done what they've needed them to do to get to the playoffs and do it in a really good fashion. The one that I'm really curious about is going to be DJ too. Because like DJ, he was another one of those players that just took off and everybody knew his name, like Afu or like, you know, those other position 4 players that just make everything happen and then blow up around the scene. And he's kind of not been in the limelight since then. I'm sure he's still incredibly talented, but I don't know if it was just like the switch ups that happened and him changing around rosters. And didn't he play for a little while on Execration as well, or is that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, after, I mean, he was on that big, very successful Fnatic team, and then they split ways. He was playing on Execration with, was it Abed and Gabby, I want to say. That was a team with a lot of potential. They won a SEA MPGL tournament or something, a small little LAN, got invited to Boston Major, and then didn't go because of visas, was it? I want to say that happened.
Yeah, I think so, because they were definitely invited.
Yeah, they were actually a direct invite, not even just winning a qualifier
Yeah, because
team.
they won that one of like the only tournaments that happened before Boston, right? So
they beat Fnatic, they beat MVP Phoenix or whatever, MVP, whatever they were called back then. Couldn't get to Boston Major, then roster shuffle. Abed went to NA. DJ ended up back on this Fnatic team, which has kind of been struggling to rebuild their roster, but has kind of obviously succeeded in doing that the last 3 to 6 months. I think the biggest thing with DJ is he's made the transition back to being a 5-position player.
Yep.
He's very stable, obviously very skilled, and was a great playmaker back then. If you look at like what Fnatic did at like Manila Masters, for example, Manila Major, where he had that huge Enigma game, for example. But I think he's very consistent and maybe more suited to the 5, with Febby being like the more playmaker-oriented one for now.
All right, well, it does look like we might actually have a draft, everybody. The first game of the Southeast Asian playoffs. Going to start off Execration versus Fnatic. I hope I'm not throwing production off and they know that there's a draft. Oh, they're so good. I should never have doubted them. Eric's the man. We're into it. The Batrider ban. It's all over the place in the Southeast Asian scene. That and Silencer as well.
Fnatic have definitely had some trends with their drafts. They've really liked this Underlord offlane for Ohio. When we talked about Ohio, how he's just been like, he's the solid, he's the rock for the team. Well, that's like Underlord as a hero. It's like, it's not flashy. It's not a hero you'd put on like a flashy offlane, but for someone like Ohio, suits him well. QO's had a hero pool that's kind of been like the PA, the Ember, some of his typical aggressive playmaking carries. And we'll see what they kind of have in store for us in this game here.
The Night Stalker Sand King has always been like that big position 4 thing too going on in Southeast Asia. Cap, in the games that you've watched, since you're on a different region as us, is it still like those as the main roaming supports, like the Night Stalker and Sand King, pretty much?
Yeah, Night Stalker, Sand King, Nyx Assassin has actually been picked up quite a lot as well. I need like a list of heroes, but there's like 5, like 4 positions. Yeah, Clockwork. There's like 5 of them that are all kind of like, sometimes like in our game we saw 4 of them actually. In the first 1-2 bans, all 4 of them were banned away, and there was like 1 left. So the 4 positions are definitely still in very high priority.
Yep.
I think it's regarded Night Stalker is probably the best because he has this good combination of like, you can't mess with him in that level 1 area, but he also gives you this really unique mid-game aspect, you know, mid-late game with the clear vision for that.
Well, Puck taken first overall by Fnatic. Very highly prized hero again, even in the first phase when we're thinking about it. So Drow Ranger is a possibility if they wanted to run it in the off lane. You can still just take it in the mid as well.
This Puck is like a huge block pick. Execration have first picked it in, I think, 6 or 7 of their games.
Yep. They have really good Puck players.
Yep. This is pure, like, Fnatic have not been running Puck as a first pick. I don't know if they maybe played it once or twice. I can try to look that up. But it's not been like a, oh, we're going to first pick Puck kind of team. It's very much like only because they know Execration is going to pick this. They didn't want to ban it. They're happy to play it. They're going to first pick it themselves.
And then the Lina Clockwork, a little bit odd again to take the Lina into Puck, which can sometimes be a little bit of a tough matchup, wouldn't you say? Or do you think that it's still kind of okay there?
I think it's okay. Lina does all right in most matchups.
You don't get as much leeway in terms of harassing a Puck. Puck generally could just phase your Dragon Slave, whereas normally in a matchup you get the creeps and the harass. So she won't win the lane as hard as she would against most other heroes. I think the Clockwork pick to me is they're just picking up more for the good hero, because I don't think Clockwork matches well against Puck at all. You can't really mess with him early on. Mid game you can't do anything against Puck. So, and there's that Pit Lord.
You've got the cogs at least against phase shift, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could walk away in cogs, but yeah.
Underlord. Has that been a thing for you guys?
That's a Fnatic thing.
Fnatic thing, yeah, for Ohio.
Okay.
It's like a, just a, they've it's been working for them. They just keep picking it. I talked to some of the SEA players, and it's like even like leading into this qualifiers and scrims, it was like they were just always doing this Underlord thing.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Yeah, 9 Underlord games. Wow.
Necro's been another. It feels like Fnatic's found like this pool of heroes that really works for them. The Underlord, the Necrophos, QO's PA. And they're kind of just sticking to their drafts for a large part, even though they're very out of the meta heroes for some of them.
One of the interesting things for the first difference I see is that the early pickups of the mids here for Southeast Asia. When I've seen all the North American games, we are trying to pick up our mids. Usually in the team that has second pick usually gets it first, and it's either the Lina or the Queen of Pain. is usually the priority. So it's still kind of like the same kind of heroes. Quad probably a little bit more than Puck, but the drafting preference is different.
Yeah, the NA games also was always like third or fourth pick Lina. Like third pick Lina and then response with Quap or something, for example.
Yeah, a lot more high priority in the 4 and 5 positions in the first one too.
The bans I'm seeing here too for Fnatic, it feels like they're trying to ensure that Underlord ends up having an okay time and they can't like 1v1 him, somebody that would like destroy a matchup for him. Like the Timbersaw ban out here. I can't really think of another great reason to try and ban out a Timbersaw.
There's still a lot of good 1v1 hero against Underlord. For example, the Ursa. Like if you give him Ursa 1v1 against Underlord, Underlord just loses that lane. But
I see Razor picked up 10 times. That's a pretty good hero versus Underlord as well. It's a safe laner.
okay.
And that I was actually I saw that like
Maledict.
Witch Doctor.
Yep.
We've rarely seen Witch Doctor in NA, but
Okay.
it's one of like the most popular heroes here, it seems.
Yes, a lot of teams have like signature players on it. Faceless being the most prevalent with Nuts on the Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
But in terms of this particular matchup, Maledict is going to be a wave where you punch through against Underlord. Although with that said, by taking Atrophy Aura, normally at level 1 or at least at level 2, you're going to just be really resistant to a lot of like these right click coming in. And I imagine that's going to be the off lane, the dual off lane of choice. It's really hard to punish both these heroes in the lane, and they have a lot of kill potential.
It's like 4% now though for Atrophy Aura. That nerf hurts so bad. 7%, excuse me.
It was, I think, 4% for when it initially got nerfed, and then it got buffed up a little.
Okay.
Or like it was like 5 or 6%. It was something awful.
Is it more common to do dual off lanes than? Because in NA we're seeing a lot of dual mids.
We're not seeing that much dual off lanes in SEA.
Yeah, okay.
It's the same kind of thing. 4 positions, focusing on the mid. And I think with a lot of teams, they're picking some greedy carries. So a lot of them are still doing like at least at the start try lanes for their safe lane, secure their safe lane, and then roam their supports. But definitely offlaners have been mostly left alone. That was where Faceless actually struggled in a lot of their games, I felt, because teams would just try lane ice, and if he gets shut down, if he's having a bad game, that's like your best player, your biggest playmaker as well, and Faceless wouldn't that eventually get knocked out.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, the Tusk takedown. It does make it seem like you could have him roaming around more often. It's like not the position 4 that we were normally talking about. There's no Sand King taken here instead. I don't really imagine that they would try and run this as like a 5 Tusk.
Yeah, I see this more of a 4. The surprising thing to me is normally Tusk is picked to kind of rescue somebody, like a dangerous single target spell with a snowball, a blink snowball play, but this is more reminiscent to what we saw from Team Liquid from Shanghai. Cap, you were there, and they were picking Tusk for GH, and his role was just to like run up and down the river, bully a lot of support, because in the river, 1 versus 1 or in a 2 versus 2 situation, the ability to isolate a support and just get an early kill is really, really tough, especially for like Witch Doctor. Even for Clockwork, like if he doesn't have Battery Assault up, Tusk is going to be running all over him.
Yeah, at the time it was Tusk Phoenix. We ran that a lot. We became very intimate with the Liquid strategy because Blitz pretty much like told us exactly what it was, and because we tried to play it out in veggies. And one of the unique things about Tusk was the fact that his rotations on mid, it's like Earth Spirit, right? In the fact that you can go straight through the lane rather than having to wrap around. Like most other 4 positions can't do that. It's just Earth Spirit and Tusk were able to have that. And so with the block off, like the mid lane is actually very effective for Tusk to gank.
Sorry, when I said a GH Tusk, it's actually Kuro Tusk. They picked it all 5 games in the grand final in Shanghai. I think GH played 1 of them, and Kuro played the other 4. They, I think, paired it with Keeper of Light whenever it wasn't banned, but in this case, we're going to see the Pudge.
Damn.
So
it's actually, like, they normally actually do have DJ playing the Tusk, even though he's like the 5, similar to like what Liquid do with Kuro.
Yeah, exactly.
They play like this 5-position Tusk, kind of maybe secures a safe link, but he can roam. You basically got 2 roamers effectively.
I want to say that the 5-position Tusk is not the norm. Like, the norm is more of the 4, because he does want a little bit of fun. Okay.
Whoa.
This is QO's hero. He wants, and you think, I mean, you don't really think Bloodseeker when you think QO, but you see the hero and you're like, yeah, QO's going to be playing that. Like, there's this kind of crazy, off-the-wall, slightly out-of-meta hero that he can dive towers with and play super aggressive on.
This looks like a pub.
Yeah, this does seem to me like because they had both Tusk and Pudge, right? Like one of those heroes is going to be helping out mid and roaming, and then one of those heroes is going to be helping out the Underlord. Like it seemed like it needed to be a very self-sufficient hero, but I think you have to have at least one support in the safe lane to start, because Sand King Bloodseeker is actually a fair matchup. The Sand King can actually win
I think
that.
Sand King wins that match.
Yeah, particularly if he gets a support rotation of his own to come in.
Yeah.
Down to the wire, they take the Sven last pick.
I don't like this pick at all. In fact, Fnatic, the only game that, TNC, the only game that they lost was when they had a Sven against Clutch Gamers, the Bloodseeker. And what happened in the late game is that Sven was just ruptured, and all he could do is just stand there. Like, he could not fight at all. So
to be
picking
fair,
Sven,
they threw a little bit too.
they threw a lot. Sven blinked up on the cliff and couldn't fight in a team fight.
No, he didn't just blink up on the cliff. He BKB'd, he God Strength, he Warcried, and then he blinked up on the cliff.
But the point stands, like, I think Bloodseeker is one of the counters to Sven, and
Yeah,
I'm surprised to see that picked into this matchup.
Oh, we'll have to see what they end up going for. Panel, give us your predictions. Who you feeling? Who you thinking is going to take this game number 1?
I like Fnatic a little bit. I think I agree with the Bloodseeker versus Sven. I also think Bloodseeker is a really cool hero to run with push strategies. I think he's very underrepresented in that regard because he does actually take down towers very quickly. And this does kind of look like a push strat. I just don't know how they're going to crack high ground, though. That to me is a bit of a mystery.
Like every other QO lineup, just kill them and then crack high
Yeah,
ground.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, the old MVP used to drop these like 5 melee heroes with like PA and stuff, and you're like, they have no high ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Push. They have
And then
no. How do they go late game? And
15 minutes later, they're up by like 15 kills. You're like, okay, I guess they don't need to worry about high ground heroes.
No.
But
if I felt like really confident in Execration as a team, I think I would go for them just because I think they do have really good high ground defense.
Okay. Cool stuff. Gods, you agreeing? You kind of feeling it?
I think I'm leaning towards Fnatic as well. I think they've got a good draft for the suits their players. It's comfort for them with the Underlord thing they've been running a lot. And I'm definitely excited to see just some of the aggression coming out. It's very MVP reminiscent. The Tusk, the Pudge, this is really run at you fighting aggression. So should be a fun game.
I'm excited. Can't wait. We're going to hop right into it now. Fnatic versus Execration. And let's just take a look at these movements. I mean, that's the other thing that's so interesting about this is, like, if you see the Underlord early on, normally it's in response to something. That's what we're talking about. But it just feels like maybe also with DJ being there, if they ever do get into a sticky situation, he can pop Dark Rift, and then you snowball save the rest of the team, jump inside. It's almost like a guarantee.
Yeah, they got a lot to say between Underlord and Tusk. Both teams 5v5 smoke. SCA Dota, let's go.
All right, run at each other. 10 heroes mid. Party. Let's stun onto 3.
the
The
silence!
right. A burrow strike. It's all onto everybody. They are still doing a lot of damage onto the rest of the Dire, but they've already killed off 2. Execration battling early Ohio, trying to man up in this. The Firestorm did a good amount, and, well, salving up the Sand King. Can they do it? They're going to kill off the Puck as well. More battles are brewing. Another Firestorm. This could be enough. RR is going to die. They barely keep the Sven alive. He is finally going to fall, and Ohio's going to go down. An ultra kill for the Witch Doctor at 24 seconds.
Whoa, guys, cool your jets. Like, come on. Siren hasn't gone. Can we just chill? We're trying to introduce some teams.
The Witch Doctor is 800 gold.
I'm just like watching Fnatic 5-man smoke down mid, and then I suddenly see Execration like, oh wait, they're 5-man smoke down mid as well. Oh shit, they're running directly at each other. Oh boy.
That was amazing.
I think, yeah, Fnatic hoping to find like a quick pick. They had the ice shards. Perhaps you really probably just want the snowball. You could dodge some spells there. At the same time, you don't want a 5-man snowball into a Stormhammer LSA combo. Even Dragonslave was leveled up, but that was a great level 1 fight for Execration, who start off with a very farmed Witch Doctor.
I mean, it's almost to a situation now where, like, how big of a influence is this going to be in the laning stage? She's coming into this with, like,
it's a Witch Doctor still end of the day. It's like more a quality of life thing, I think, for him, where he doesn't have to worry about farming up his boots while upgrading the career. So definitely small quality of life improvements for him. But I think you look at the next 2 heroes who actually did well in that fight. It's the Underlord, who's got almost the same net worth as this Witch Doctor already. He's going to have a fantastic time top because he got 2 kills out of that, and he's already got like some CS in a pretty easy lane versus Sven, while Witch Doctor wasn't actually there to do anything. So I think Ohio's actually going to have a great time top lane as a result of that fight.
All right, well, this is still looking to be another scrappy one as you have Febby and DJ roaming together up in this top lane possibly. We'll see if they can make more action happen, as I think that this, I mean, who does this lane favor if they get into this engagement? How do they need to start the fight?
I think it's going to favor the Radiant side. These supports are just incredibly strong level 1. We're going to see it here.
All right, there's going to be the Rot. Slowed down already. They go for instead for the Witch Doctor.
He's got a big streak.
One of the highest net worth heroes in the game right now, but they are going to be able to keep Leemic alive. And instead, Raging Potato turned around upon, may be able to take down Febby. Can they find this kill? He does not manage to get the Rot denied. Now Nando shows up as well. Raging Potato will have another round of cogs in 1 second, and it looks like Ohio and DJ possibly going to get caught in this one. Can they get the pushback or possibly even just find the kill? Saves his mana, and that's another kill to Leemic on a mega kill streak at 2 minutes in. DJ
kill.
also going to fall. My God, the battle does not stop.
Wow. Okay. 10 kills, 2 minutes in. No big deal, Gabe. This is just standard Dota 2 right here.
He's about to have an urn.
I don't think you can buy it because the raindrops aren't available. You know, he's going to hit a roadblock. He's going to be like, crap, can't buy those raindrops yet.
That's amazing. It feels almost like a travesty to talk about anything but the kills, but in the grander context of like the game plan of a push strat, does this change anything from Fnatic? Do they have like a way back out of it?
As much as the kill score looks kind of crazy, they're actually not behind really right now. This is like a very weird, bizarre way to start the game. You can see at the top it's less than 1k gold lead. Bloodseeker is farming and winning the mid lane. He's dominating the mid lane in CS. 18 last hits, 13 denies. He is crushing this Lina, who is 6-3. This is actually a really big deal, and that's where Fnatic's actually... They're in an okay position. They need to calm down. They can't keep giving up these kills. They're going to look for one themselves on mid, and
oh my God,
nice dodge from QO.
The Blood Rite is insane. I mean, that's the thing right there also, is you get all of this amp damage coming in from Blood Rage and a kill mid to top off the massive CS lead. And, well, we shouldn't look away anywhere else. Febby kills off
lane,
RR as
meanwhile,
well.
Ohio.
Maybe more kills going on. Ohio going to
Maladin.
die. Oh, God.
He's 6-0. Oh, man. That's good and bad, because when he gives up a kill, that's a big streak turned around. That's going to go gold back Fnatic's way. And it's a Witch Doctor. He will inevitably die, so definitely something to be concerned about if you're in his shoes.
I mean, he's a part of all the kills. He has 3 assists on top of the 6 kills.
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's also, we hadn't talked about it at all. Ajit is going to be the one playing the puck in the bottom lane. I guess that they wanted to avoid that one-on-one matchup against the Sand King that the panel was talking about could be tough.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I like the Bloodseeker mid because he's got good sustain to heal himself back up. At the same time, Puck has the phase shift, theoretically. But yeah, the 1v1 Bloodseeker versus Sand King isn't a good matchup, so they are avoiding that with the way they played this one out. Some very just unusual stuff, like Raging Potatoes playing the 4 position role, which is not normally the case for this team. And we'll see how things do kind of progress from here.
Speaking of Raging Potato, they're moving in. They did scan this, though, Fnatic, so they know that there's a gank coming mid, and already DJ is there to set it up. And can they turn this back around in time? They still have the Maledict off, maybe not expecting this much damage. Q, Snowball save, but I think he's still going to die to the Maledict damage, as well as the right clicks from Lina. Leemic dropping low. They do end up getting another kill on the Witch Doctor there, and he's manning up, taking down DJ. Has the Urn charges as well, because he's completed that one. Weren't expecting that Witch Doctor level 2 Maledict, maybe.
He is doing a lot of damage and a lot of work early on. Get some Urn charges. When you've got those Urn charges now this fast, that's some nice extra damage output and some really good synergy with the Maledict. You Maledict someone, you're doing damage, you earn them, and it just kind of does exponential damage as a result. As they continue to roam around, looking to rotate in on this Underlord again in this top lane. Ohio does not know what he's in for. Although, actually he does. He's got a Radiant Ward protecting him. And should not be going down to this gank. But he may.
Yeah, they're going to toss out the cask. They're going to go in for the cogs. Like you talked about, all of that DOT coming in as well as the big bad right clicks. Ohio in trouble and looks to be going down. They will get a return kill. And in the meantime, Q also kills off James in the mid lane. This Lina dropping again. Kills all across the map.
Yeah, this support duo, not that they're working together on Fnatic side, the Pudge and the Tusk, both are just such great heroes to gank a Lina. This is the biggest, I think, weakness of Lina is that her defensive capabilities are almost non-existent. You've got this AoE stun, but you've got no escape. You've got no good way to run away until late game when you've got all the movement speed to play around, and we're seeing them just run her down time and time again. Although QO is being ganked now by an Invis Sand King.
This is the play right here. If they can turn this back around, it looks like they will be able to find another kill onto QO, possibly. No great way for him out of that. Maybe can find a silence and rupture RR just to spite him.
Hook rupture. That is
the play!
That's the combo. Oh, man, there's some crazy synergy with some of these heroes.
All right. We need to bring a little bit of clarity to this game because I feel like it's fallen off the rails with the teams. So here's a question I have too. You obviously have like a game plan for your team going into it.
Do you think there's a game plan, Gabe? You watching this game?
That's the thing that I'm wondering.
What is the game plan?
That's the thing. Does the game plan change when you get like a Witch Doctor with 8 kills at 6 minutes? Can he start going like straight into Ags and maybe turn into the 4 or what?
It's tough because it's a hero that you get jumped as Witch Doctor, you die, so you don't want to suddenly invest more farm in the Witch Doctor. You're obviously happy that your Witch Doctor's got some farm and is where he is, but don't suddenly be like, oh, let's give him farm to get more items.
Wow.
Kill after kill. James is getting fed upon in this mid lane. What a start for QO's Bloodseeker. He just continually gets support rotations in. I talked about with Fnatic, the key thing for them, and the key team for any team with QO, is play around this guy. He is such a star, such a playmaker when you build teams around him and when you play around him, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with Fnatic.
And Raging Potato running down Ajit. He's going to have to be forced into a phase shift. Use the Dream Coil to try and mess with R, but they can't find the kill, and you can see that James is just playing so scared now, and he really has to. It's an incredibly tough matchup for him at this point. Still sitting at 17 CS to the 30 denies of the Bloodseeker, who's actually only a level ahead.
Lina is bottom 4 net worth, and half of the net worth of Bloodseeker at this point. Very concerning for James.
Uh-oh. They're thinking about wrapping around to Nando, but they found a big tasty Witch Doctor, and unfortunately this is going to be a lot of gold back into somebody's coffers, and they give it away to Febby. 570 gold.
Damn, that's a lot of money. If those neutrals weren't there, perhaps the 2-man cast would have saved him and even led to some kills, but Febby gets himself a nice big bounty. He can now buy an urn or something along those lines himself, though it looks like Tusk is going to do that, so may just see a bigger item purchased for Febby this game.
Already has the Tranquils, so obviously not going to get into Arcanes or anything like that. But level 5 on him too. I mean, that's the other thing to keep in mind here is that having that early of a lead, the experience growth is also insane going back into their favor, and now he's ahead of the Witch Doctor.
The crazy thing with this game, with all those kills going down, is that's the kind of game Fnatic wants to play. Yes, they were behind on kills and they lost that level 1 fight, but it's Execration who want to play this slower pace farming game. They've got the Sven. They want to play stack Dota. They want to stack their Ancients, stack their Neutrals, farm the Sven. Lina wants to play a farming game in mid. Bloodseeker, he can farm, but he'd rather farm heroes than creeps. Similar thing for a Puck. You're running a safe lane Puck. You're doing this to get some early levels, early farm, and then look to fight early on. You're not playing Puck like you're playing this safe lane Sven. It's going to be Fnatic who want to fight. They want the chaotic game. So that level 1 fight goes badly for them, but it sets a tempo, which is kind of what they want. They want to keep playing this aggressive, chaotic Dota, and at some point, Execration have to say, hold on a second, we've got those kills, but this is not actually how we want to play this game. We don't want to keep on fighting.
Well, and the thing that I find kind of interesting about that, too, is that you do have QO going back for a Hand of Midas, as it looks like RR is going to die in the bottom lane. They're able to find him with the shards. Is this just because, like, if you're fighting all that much, that they want to make sure that they still enable some level of farm on this guy and he can scale into items if he doesn't find those kills?
Yeah, that's a big part of it, and Bloodseeker as a hero is currently sitting on 1200 HP. He doesn't actually need a fighting item right now. The alternative to this Midas is he could have theoretically like a Blade Mail, which would definitely be nice and help him playing aggressive, but he feels confident that he can secure some late game itemization while still fighting through a Midas pickup, which he's already got 10 minutes and he's got a Midas and another 600 gold. He is incredibly rich.
Yeah, this guy is stacked up, and level 10 as well. Is he going back for Echo Saber at this point, I guess? He has at least the Ogre Club built up. This is the other nice part, that level 10 maybe? Talent. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other reason why you can get away with the Midas is you hit level 10, you're suddenly even tankier. So he's close to 1500 HP without any real health items. The Midas he's got phase Midas with a magic wand, and he's incredibly tanky, super durable. This Ogre Club could be a BKB. I think more likely it's going to be a Halberd. Theoretically, the Echo Saber wouldn't be a bad idea as well, but We'll see. They are grouping up around QO, looking to bait him.
Ooh, able to dodge that hook. He doesn't want to hook in now. He's all ruptured up. Got the cogs there as well. Burrow Strike could come out. Going to connect now onto QO, but the silence is there as well onto 2. And Fnatic just need to back out at this point. Although Ajit thinking about going back in.
No tower left.
Okay, the stun comes out. It connects onto 2 of them. The God Strike, the Zozo, but the snowball, they're just going to be able to walk away. Witch Doctor ulti not doing nearly enough. Another Blood Right comes out. Everybody from Radiant is so low. They lose the Tusk and the Pudge, and now Clockwork trying to run down Ajit. He doesn't have any way to get out of this one. I don't believe Illusory Orb in just a second. They are going to end up killing him off.
Meanwhile, QO.
Well, trying to clean up. Can they run him down? It looks like he's just going to have to back out of there.
He got 1 kill on the Witch Doctor, but yeah, did have to back out of there. Losing both Underlord and the Puck there in the back lines. That was a good fight coming out from Execration. About 1,000 gold swing going their way. It was a nice attempted save from the DJ Snowball, but Execration just had... I mean, they've got all these big AoE spells, and even if you manage to dodge one or two, there's going to be more waiting for you. The Burrow Strike, the LSA, the Sven Stormbolt, the Clockwork, Cogs, and Battery Assault. There's so much stun and control. Witch Doctor guys, all 5 of these heroes have stun and AoE control in some form. That is definitely hard to fight into if you're Fnatic. You cannot really use this snowball offensively. So it started off as a, oh, I'm going to save my teammates, but then the snowball rolls forward, and that's where you're rolling 3 teammates into AoE spells.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and maybe a response to this type of draft that we've seen out of Fnatic time and again. You know, the Underlord as well. It's the type of hero that wants to group up and, you know, run down towers, be together, get, you know, make use of that Atrophy Aura. But with all this magical damage, it's just not happening as well.
If they'd managed to, I think it would have been a very different fight if they'd either landed the hook at the start or waited for the rupture before he hooked, so he had like a setup for it. Because they don't find that instant pick, it basically the fight starts off on Execration's terms, and they don't have a free kill at the start like they're meant to with the Pudge hook. So it was slightly misexecuted, and I think if Fnatic actually played it right, they would have actually come out on top of that one.
Ships in the night. Do they run into Nando? He's on the low ground. He's going to finish farming this and run right into a hell of a lot of trouble. They hook him through.
That is so much damage.
God damn. And, well, in the meantime, RR kills off Ajit.
Yeah. It's a nice one to get. Very close to a Blink Dagger, but here come Fnatic looking to halt this.
And, well, James is there as well. You have a Burrow Strike on RR to get out, and, well, the hook is going to connect from far away. RR, a little bit unfortunate there.
Yep. Working on that Blink very close to it and getting picked off there. That's Sand King and Sven, 2 of the cores going down, and we'll see what the next steps for Fnatic are. We talked about their limited ability to push towers, take objectives, but so far that hasn't really hindered them.
Oh, there's another hook onto that Witch Doctor. The cask is going to bounce around, but does not end up working out too well for them. They end up taking down 2 more of Execration. You know, it's kind of interesting. They ended up TPing 3 heroes, and now immediately afterwards they're going to go for the Dark Rift. This is what I was wondering, if they were going to go for this type of play, making use of it, and then going to shrines, continuing this aggressive usage.
Yeah, I love the way we're seeing it used. Definitely something that when Underlord was first added, it was kind of also around when like shrines were in play as well. Like when the shrines were first added, everyone's like, oh man, this Underlord. Like, I think EG were playing a lot of it on Universe. Like, they'd win a big team fight, ulti to a shrine, heal up, then smoke into the enemies. We're seeing that here from Fnatic as well, and it's definitely a very efficient way to play Dota. And very fast tempo, something that Execration haven't really managed to deal with well yet. They're up by a couple of kills, but this still just feels like a result of that, like, first 2 minutes where they're up like 10 kills to 2, but realistically they weren't winning the game. It was almost even on gold. Bloodseeker was crushing mid. He's almost completed his BKB. And against all those AoE spells and control, this is definitely a great BKB game, so we'll see him able to fight very early on with this item. Oh, another hook bottom.
Oh, able to catch him. Man, Febby has just been on point with these all day long. And Leemic, he's going to drop the ward and see if he can actually kill him off. A little bit of revenge for the earlier kill that ended up happening onto Febby, and will not be able to do anything outside of throw a hook as he dies. So... nice return kill. How's that Witch Doctor been doing since those initial ones? He's still got a good amount of farm on him.
Yeah, for a 5 position, that's very good, but definitely you haven't seen that like farm kind of continue to grow like it did in the first couple minutes. But ultimately, 10 kills on a Witch Doctor, not too shabby.
Yeah, we are building into a couple more of these Force Staffs. It looks like the Pudge is about to have his completed on top of the Underlord, so maybe more of that synergy is Ajit not quite going to get caught by either of those stuns, and instead thinking about turning this one. Are they actually Dark Rifting up here? No, he doesn't have it, but it's going to be Febby looking for that hook, not going to connect, and RR should be able to walk away from this.
Yeah, Ajit was a bit too scared to go in aggressively there on the puck. Could have maybe gone for an orb to set up for Pudge, but not too big of a deal.
All right, another rupture onto Nando. It's going to get hit by the Blood Right as well, but they don't have enough damage to stop this off. And instead, it's a Clockwork Hook in. He's caught onto QO, Force Staff away. Underlord keeping him alive. Up here on the south side, or rather the north side, doesn't look like they're going to be able to go for any more of a fight yet.
Well, they want to run back in. Tusk is actually in very deep.
All right. Well, Blood Right going to connect onto 2. The Snowball's keeping him alive. This Bloodseeker is incredibly fast right now. The shards as he snowballed away. QO might just clean up with the BKB there. There's no option for him. Nando is just going to get ran at inside of his base. Looks like QO finally going to back out. I think old QO would have gone for that.
2015 QO. He's by the tier 4s right now, getting a triple kill and then dying, you know. But this is a bit more maybe discipline from him, but his BKB wearing off, he settles for the kill or 2 that he gets, and his team continued to excel. He is just incredibly farmed. Did lose the Courier somewhere there, not too sure what happened to that, but not the end of the world for Fnatic. Interesting puck build. Okay, he's not going to go for like a full drums. He picked up a bracer, looking phase boots 1, like getting all these smaller items, not looking for the fast blink, but will now have it queued up.
Ooh. Again, going up here on the top lane onto Raging Potato, it's just going to force him back. And I mean, even when there's not kills, and there's almost 40 of them at sub 20 minutes, it still just feels like there's constant like little skirmishes going on in this game, and it's got to favor that Fnatic draft. I feel like Sven hasn't really had that time for himself yet.
Yep, he wants alone time. He wants to farm Ancients. Won't be looking for the kill on Ohio.
Oh man, tried to Force Staff away.
Take
Wasn't going to have any of that.
Has the 4 staff, that's it. QO coming in top now.
Yeah, they got him caught. There's going to be a hell of a lot of damage. They're doing the Witch Doctor ulti as well. The silence is there, trying to turn this. Ajit going to be pushed back by the Cogs, and now out of mana, he's going to be taken down as well. 3 dead. Another snowball forward, but they can't quite bring down Leemic. This Witch Doctor trying to run away. It's not going to happen. Still, though, that is 4 dead for Fnatic, and maybe going to lose a 5th as DJ is just trying to get out of this one. Fight recap already showing a heavy lead for Execration. I'm sure is going to be further accentuated as Fnatic, not really too many places left for him to hide.
Yeah, that's a full team wipe. Able to burst down the Bloodseeker before he could BKB. He got it off like at the last millisecond before he died, so he got no value out of it. And that was the perfect way to start a fight. You delete the biggest net worth hero on the Fnatic side. You take out his BKB. And then suddenly you set yourself up for success as Execration take a much-needed team fight. They're going to get hooked at top, Raging Potato. The fighting never stops, Gabe.
It's never stopping. This is like, is this? I mean, this is sort of reminiscent of how it was when MVP Phoenix first came on the scene and just like won those games, right? Like,
yeah. It feels like that's been like the change in mentality with Fnatic, because they were struggling as a team for a while, whereas like they have all these great players, these TI veterans, players who've had a lot of success, and the roster wasn't really working out. They brought in Ajit to replace Miracle. I think it helped a little bit, but it really feels like more than anything they've just completely changed up their playstyle. Like, let's stop trying to be the old Fnatic. Let's try and be the old MVP. We've got Q on our team. We can't. He's not going to play the same way like Mushi does, for example. He's going to play like QO. We're going to be MVP, and so it's DJ. I mean, Febby obviously was on that team, but it's DJ and Ahai who have like said, all right, we're not going to try to be Fnatic. We're going to be MVP, at least in this game.
Yeah, and this constant movement around the map in big groups. They Dark Rift to the bottom lane, and now going to set up with Ajit to pressure this tower. I mean, maybe they don't even want to pressure the tower. Maybe they just want to keep on fighting, and it looks like they might be able to find the Execration here.
Well, can they find any kind of a hooker initiation here? Raging Potato does need to be careful. I think they just need to focus on their setup and initiations a bit on the Fnatic side, like trying to either rupture into the hook, have the Tusk Ice Shard set up a hook. Like, they need to really lead the fight with the Pudge hook is the big spell for me when starting a fight. However they want to set that up, be it a rupture, a Dream Coil, an Underlord Pit of Malice, it's not the big issue. But if they don't pull a hero in, they don't want to just be running into 5 heroes with big AoE spells and great defensive capabilities. If you look at like Sven with Warcry, Clockwork with Cogs, Sanking Burrows, you don't want to just run in crazily to that. You've got to pull that at least one hero to you and then get a numbers advantage.
So that's something that I was wondering. Ajit had a Bracer in here. Do you think there's any idea of like going for an Atos or something like that? Is that too weird?
I think it doesn't do enough for him. It doesn't help against like a BKB Sven. Doesn't help really against Alina so much. You're better off going for the bigger items. You could go for like the defensive Yules, which is also like always fine. I think you'll just see a more standard puck item most likely. The one thing I wonder is maybe a Drums was considered as like a early game fighting item based on how the game was going, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be an item to buy at this stage as a core puck.
Oh, Sand King, they want him real bad, but they weren't quite able to get the Rupture off. Would have been a really nice pickup there. And of course, with, you know, Underlord up here in the top lane, all the heroes near him, another Dark Rift would have been an easy lane of Rex. Yeah,
so Puck's queued up the Yule Scepter. I think Ags on Puck is going to be very impactful this game as well against a Sven BKB. You can also coil people and then hook them out and get that extra stun. There's just some cool interactions possible. Oh, Lumic, he's been found.
Yeah, he's going invis, trying to run away from him. They have found the route, though, and unfortunately, this Witch Doctor just going to be fodder again. 11 kills looks good, and I mean, he's had a great game for himself so far.
Yeah, but it's the deaths that will start to matter more.
Uh-oh. They got him caught. He's going to end up going down. Trying to build in towards some other items, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. Wasn't able to get that BKB off. Febby also under control. Nando pops the BKB, turns the fight, but able to force staff away. Blinks. He was able to juke him just around that one tree. Oh no, Nando, that's not what you want. They hook him back in yet again, and well, RR chasing the Tusk. There's like 3 separate fights going on in this one. Febby is eventually going to be taken down in Ohio, also in a little bit of trouble. Ajit jumps back in, takes down one, but can't quite catch off and kill that Lina.
Shadowblade, yeah. Didn't have any detection for it. DJ ends up dying as well to the Sanking to the north. I don't know how you follow these fights. It's like, what is going on?
I know, it's insanity. And like, that's the thing too, is I mean, is there any sort of key thing that has to happen in a fight? Like, are there any spells that have to hit for like Fnatic to win it? Is it
the big spell is BKB. If he doesn't get his BKB off, it's like that's what decides these fights, is whether QO gets jumped. You don't want him getting initiated on by a Sanking or a Sven. If he gets stunned and bursted before he can BKB, the fight is lost. If someone else gets initiated on and QO is able to BKB, run in, hit multiple heroes in Blood Right, get his Rupture off, do crazy QO things, then he's fine. But he needs to position or play such that he's not the first one into the fight unless he's first one into the fight with his BKB off.
Okay. And eventually that is going to start running lower and lower, which becomes a bigger problem. Sven has his done as well, going back for the AC now. The other thing that I'm kind of keeping my eye on tentatively is Bloodseeker going back for the Radiance. Do you think this is finally the time when Fnatic sort of put the brakes on slightly and wait for that Radiance to get done before they fight again?
I think definitely can. I mean, the situation that just happened doesn't change with the Radiance in some sense, because if he gets jumped, he's still going to die, but Radiance is going to be a very useful item. I think for Fnatic, they've got a fighting lineup. They're going to look to fight. They're smoked up. The key thing is just being the ones who initiate rather than them getting jumped on, as we've seen a few times.
Right now, unfortunately, no vision. They would have known that all of Execration was up there. Where did they head to? They are
They go towards Roche.
They have Medallion on Raging Potato.
They can get a ward up. Yeah, Kimo can kind of just walk up this cliff, plant a ward, and then secure Roche for the team.
Alright, so nobody's showing in lane, at least for the moment. Sand King is finally going to show himself, but doesn't feel like Fnatic are privy to this.
This is going by unnoticed, uncontested. And Fnatic should be a little bit concerned about dealing with this Aegis Sven now. Still feels like a case where whoever starts the fight off better is just going to like snowball and win. Like we saw with Execration, they burst down the Bloodseeker, they won the fight like 4-for-1, or previously they won a fight with a team wipe. If Fnatic win a fight, the Aegis may not matter, just because if Bloodseeker goes in, gets a good Rupture off, hits lots of heroes in Blood Right, gets his BKB off, then he may just be able to team wipe himself. So an Aegis doesn't necessarily mean Execration are going to have a massive edge come team fight time.
Looks like now also it's sort of back up and farm, at least until that
Yep.
Radiance is done, and particularly since that Aegis, as we talked about, maybe
Top
going to
lane.
catch Ohio here as the Shadow Blade is there. The hook shot connects. James, quick and easy kill onto that Underlord.
This Lina used to be poor. That is definitely not the case anymore. James has well and truly recovered very well.
It was a nice play to ensure that at least the Lina got out, but yeah, another hook. Febi's been playing a really good punch. I'm super impressed.
Yeah, I'm digging it too. He's been very impactful. 6, 6, and 6. Febi, get your soul checked out. Some spooky stuff, but yeah, Fnatic just, I mean, they lose a hero, they immediately run to where that hero was died, and they're like, oh, we got to get a return kill. Like, we're strong, we're the fighting ganking team. Let's keep doing this. I think they can still go well late game is the thing, because something the panel Lumi liked to mention was the rupture against the Sven really limits his ability to dominate a team fight since he gets kited a lot. Epicenter top.
Oh no, Q, he got BKB off though, and then they hook out immediately the Sand King. Oh no, this is really bad right here for Execration, unless they're able to turn it back around, but the snowball save is also going to mean that they're fine for the moment. They have caught Q yet again, but he's able to walk away from it. The Witch Doctor ulti, not enough. That should be enough with the Maledict burn, and well, nonetheless, it is still going to be Lina dead. They're controlling the Sven. He has nowhere left to go. Leemic is also going to fall, and all of a sudden, Execration lose 4. Can Clockwork help to get this Sven out of there for the second life? He gets the blink away, turns to go back in. I don't know if that's necessarily the play. The snowball is going to connect onto him. The stun onto Tooch, still trying to bring down these heroes. The Tusk, is he going to end up going down? It looks like he gets out, actually. And Nando possibly going to fall as well. Raging Potato goes back in, finishes off DJ. Ajit trying to salvage this and get this finish kill onto Nando, but he's able to blink away yet again. Sven is out of there. Raging Potato.
Silence coming in. Can he find Nando?
Possibly. He jumps in. They don't realize it, though. He's turning to fight and ends up running back into Ajit. He's going to juke out the other direction. Somehow the Sven gets out of there. Raging Potato and Nando have turned this fight away spectacularly, and somehow they end up salvaging something for themselves as Febi looking to go down as well.
Oh, whoa. Ping pong. What? Oh, and this is the hook on Ohio. That would have been... Actually, I don't know if that would have worked out with the TP coming in, but... What a crazy fight. That's one of those fights, like, you can't... Like, you got to watch in, like, a team perspective because of all, like, the tree juking with the fog there. Sven and Puck having this cute little, like, mind game battle in the trees where Puck's trying to find him, guess with the orb. Sven blinks away, accidentally finds him with the Waning Rift, doesn't realize it. End result is... slightly Execration favored. The Sven does not go down, gets a couple big kills. They kill QO's Bloodseeker again, even though they use the Aegis. That's what it's ideally there for, is to win you a team fight, as we just saw.
It does change a little bit too. Like, I wonder if Fnatic take that fight with Radiance instead, and all of a sudden it looks completely different. You know, not sure if it would have changed everything, but
oh, had it not been delivered yet?
Yeah, I don't think so at the start of that. I could be wrong, but nonetheless. 28 to 33, we are approaching ludicrous levels of kills for how long the game's been going. It doesn't feel like it's going to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, SEA is heating up. Gonna mention, for those of you looking for the NA not playoffs, the group stages, they are wrapping up with Planet Odd versus Team Freedom. It's on Beyond the Summit 4, if you guys want to check out the deciding matches of the NA group stages, but here we go.
Yeah, another quick jump onto Febi, and he is going to be taken down. So, I mean, Fnatic probably still wanting to run after them and see if they can find a kill here. Nando's still in the area. It seems unlikely, though, without the Pudge. Well, Nando, they are not able to get the stun off onto anybody. Again, the little okie doke there. We'll finally find it onto the Tusk, but he's also Dreamcoil trying to TP out of there. Fortunately, no Walrus Punch to break that TP.
Nice BKB TP out. Puck does have that Axe queued up to deal with this Sven, and they're going to all ulti top. They want to fight.
All right, jumping in. Execration, they weren't expecting that one. The shards are there as well. They lift up onto the Witch Doctor. The hook shot off to the other side hits a Centaur randomly to get out of there. Now Leemic, Glimmer Cape, but will eventually fall. It looks like so too will the Sand King. Yes, he does go down. Witch Doctor tried to turn it, but it was never going to be enough.
What's that Centaur doing there, Gabe? What's going on?
Radiance burn.
He wants to join in, yeah. It's like, oh, there's a fight going on. Let me come to that one. And Clock's like, sweet, thanks for the escape route. Clock has a rod of Atos all of a sudden. Holy cow. It's going crazy this game. That's going to be kind of a tool to try and help deal with this puck. It's nice because you can hook shot in, so you lead with the stun, and then you've got a route to follow up to try and disable and lock down Jit.
Yeah, particularly after that last fight, I'm sure, where he was able to just, you know, run on tiptoes around the Sven. They're wanting to make sure that happens. Let's see, it looks like it's going to be a Lincoln Sphere next for Bloodseeker. He's got the items that he needs to fight it. Yeah, another quick kill, Lotus Punch there. 64 kills in 31 minutes, and, well, Ajit ends up securing that one.
Yeah, it feels like he's going to be playing around his spells more than I mean, he's got right-click items with the Radiance, BKB, Lincolns, definitely, but he's like, he's talented towards the Blood Right damage, the Rupture damage. If you want to go full right-click, you're definitely getting the attack speed, the all stats, even later on the lifesteal. I imagine we'll see that Blood Right cooldown coming into play. He wants to be able to kite through his spells as much as possible, and then any right-click damage is like a bonus.
They almost caught him there in the trees. Febby looking for an opening, but they weren't quite able to get it. Yeah, I've seen a couple of different Bloodseekers try this build out in competitive, and one of the big things that runs into a bit of an issue is like your mana pool, actually, unless you go something like an Aghanim Scepter, because you only have 800 mana on this hero.
The Lincolns will, I think, solve most of that, since it also gives you mana regen. We'll give him like 15 all stats, 150% mana regen. I think with that alone, he should be okay. Obviously, if you're spamming Blood Rights at level 25 off of cooldown, you will eventually run out of mana. And the Ags means double Rupture. That's 2 times the mana cost for the Rupture as well. So we'll see how that works out. If Ags is none he wants to consider, I think it is very good on Bloodseeker.
Oh, DJ caught again. Just going to get blown up.
Not the biggest kill, and no Aegis to claim as well following the pick, so ultimately a smoke gank for a kill like that. Oh, I don't think, Febby, you do not want to fight him.
A dog chasing a car. What are you really trying to do here, Febby?
Oh, the cogs works against him.
I think that this is still probably
going to
be a kill. Okay, all right. Febby sometimes plays around it, able to bait out God's Strength.
To the south, there was an epicenter which caught nothing, it looks like.
What is happening? QO, okay, they're running after Nando again. They get the Rupture off onto Raging Potato. The hook should follow through, although Nando jumps back in, gets onto Febby. They have that bite available to lock him down for the moment, and no BKB available. They're gonna kill off Nando, gonna kill off Raging Potato. The Burrow Strike to try and turn it, but RR, there's none of your teammates here at all. Now a Light Strike Array, not quite on the mark. James trying to run away. The most clowny of Dota. They force-staff QO forward. The Burrow Strike away with the Aghanim Scepter. They can't quite run down RR yet, but he still has the Blood Rage on him. And QO, unfortunately, is going to have to call off the charge.
It's one of those, this is impossible to observe because there's all these like small like 1v2s and 2v2s going on like in 3 different locations at any given time. Like Pudge is playing a 1v2 over near his tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, Execration's playing like a 2v2 with the Sand King Witch Doctor trying to go in on, I don't know, was it a puck, someone? Then Fnatic turn around, stop fighting. This is one of the most hectic Dota games I've seen in a long time, and definitely very entertaining as neither team has managed to pull ahead. We're looking at 2 kills a minute, a 1k-ish gold lead for Execration, which amounts to very little. Especially when you think a lot of that is in this Sven, who will have issues late game, getting kited around, being ruptured, multiple 4-staffs. There's Hook, there's Dismember. Speaking of Hook.
Oh, James, they don't have detection. 4-staff forward. They still don't know he's here, but he's running him down. Do they shards? They got the Dream Coil. What? James, how did they know? Do they have a gem?
I don't know, actually. I thought they missed the dust. At least that's what it looked like. I guess the Shadow Blade wore off. He actually rotted him perfectly as he was running away. Like he was just following his every movement speed, and I believe the Shadow Blade may have just wore off there at the end.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out also like when it is.
He also gets, if he gets low enough, the Bloodseeker will be able to track him.
That's
the
probably
other big
what it
thing.
was.
So I imagine it was the Bloodseeker giving vision as a big part of it.
Trying to keep up with everything that's happening in this game is just impossible.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of those interactions, like you know it, but there's so many things going, you may just not think about it. Oh, great hook save.
All right, able to get out of there, and now for the moment, QO is going to pop the BKB, turning to fight, but Nando also is under control. They're starting to deal a ton of damage onto Ohio, but they still can't get the full duration. Witch Doctor ulti, it's not really doing enough, and another hook out. QO gets the kill with the Rupture.
That's
great play again, and that is so hard to deal with. 3 dead, 4 dead for Execration, and Witch Doctor, the lone one left alive. He's hooking catapults. He doesn't give a damn. Fnatic looking strong and maybe ready to assault high ground.
Pudge Bloodseeker. It's a thing. That synergy between these two has found some big kills. That Sven was so healthy throughout that entire fight. His BKB was wearing off, and that was always going to be a problem once that happened because he can start getting kited. Let's see, I don't know if they all want to go back. They're in a position to actually break high ground. Ahayo's going to ulti himself home. I guess he just didn't have a TP scroll because he can't actually ulti back in. He can TP to the shrine and walk his way back, but no buybacks means Fnatic may actually get a lane of racks off of this.
Suddenly racks. Like, that's the thing. I was wondering, when is it that this game is actually going to end up starting to transition into the big objectives? We've seen one Roche taken most of the towers down now, and Execration, how big of a deal is this for them losing a lane of racks here? Is it something where it sort of stops their ability to move around the map as freely, or?
Yeah, it's even though they've got heroes that can clear the super creeps very well, the Sven, Lina, Sand King, it's a big deal because they've lost a lot of map control. They're going to lose their shrine. They're going to lose, I imagine, this Roshan. They are back alive. I think contesting it is definitely something they want to try and do, but it's hard to just say, all right, let's go contest Roche now when you've lost a lot of your map control. They do still have wards around the Roshan pit, so they see Fnatic walk into this one. They've got to get there faster if they want to stop it. Clockwork, the perfect hero to try and stop this one and be disruptive, though.
Yeah, and Sand King is coming down to the south side. He does have Aghanim Scepter, no Force Staff, and will get spotted by the creeps as they come through here.
Debbie's
the
invis,
strike
that
already.
is potentially very problematic.
Blood right down. Limek able to sidestep that one. This is, I mean, at the very least, Fnatic don't feel comfortable doing this anymore.
Yep. Definitely. They've got Manta on QO, so that means he doesn't have buyback, which is potentially an issue, although this Manta can be very dangerous to scout with and just cancel those blink daggers on heroes like Sand King.
Manta Radiance. What a combo. Octarine Core next?
Don't think you want to go full Naga Siren. You can go like half Naga Siren.
Oh no, they caught Raging Potato. He doesn't have a way to get out of that one, and well, hook shots to try and turn it, but
that may be the end of Roche. He's your key initiator, the scouting hero as well. Without him, you may have to get this one out. They have got wards for vision. Stopping this is going to be a challenge.
Febby fishing. Hasn't found anything yet. They are still in the area, but as you said, not a fight that they want to take without that Clockwork.
3,000 plus health on Febby with a Blade Mail, thanks to all the kills and flesh heap he's been getting.
Yeah, that's insane.
Got 50 bonus strength from flesh heap.
He also has 58% magic resist with the pipe as well as his natural base and the flesh heap addition. So all of these spells that were before causing so much trouble for that hero, not as much so anymore. I mean, this is also another one of those heroes that people don't talk about a ton, but Pudge's ability to help with high ground, suddenly, I mean, it's like a Batrider, but better in a lot of ways if you can hit it.
It's so nice. Yeah, it's short cooldown. Just keep on throwing those hooks. Eventually, you may find a pick that just opens up the game for you and allows you to break that Rax. Fnatic aren't in a big rush here. As much as they may want to try and force this with the Aegis, they can be a little bit patient, wait for a hook, or at least slowly chip at this one with the Manta, with QO, with the BKB Aegis in the front lines.
Walking forward, Limek, they have the hook shot in. The Maledict is there as well, a good bit of damage. Can they find that kill? They're able to hook one back out, but still a lot of damage coming out. They have the Blood right off to the side. BKB popped as well. They've already taken down the Bloodseeker for the first time at the very least. Aegis is down. Laguna Blade to kill off the puck. They're dealing a ton to Ohio as well, but Febby, he's just standing tall in the background. They have to buy back on the Sand King. Nando so low at this stage, and is he going to end up going down? He is going to end up falling. QO with the cheese, gets back up to full HP, and Ohio finally going to fall to the right clicks from the Lina. Maybe they can run down QO here, but they need to hit it perfectly. They need to find him. He's able to Manta away, but the burst strike on the 2, and that might just be the end of it. Ultra kill for James as they defend their high ground.
It's looking like Fnatic may be able to take that fight just by sheer numbers, having Aegis and Cheese. Definitely some slight missteps there with their execution. The Pudge hook went through like a snowball. The snowball save and like offensive use kind of made the hook actually miss. The QO Bloodseeker got bursted down very early as well, and that is some turnaround.
And the Boots of Travel means that Lina's already down here assaulting the high ground and able to do a ton of damage to it. She doesn't have any help. So if they do decide to buy back on the Bloodseeker or the Tusk, it could be a little bit scary.
See if she considers doing much more than some chip damage. I think that's about all she can get out of this one. A tier 3 tower would be huge because it does allow you to kill shrines. Whoa, 4-stuffed in. Ahaya goes aggressive.
Okay, wanting to try and battle this. Febby is back up as well. The hook. Oh, sidestepped neatly by James.
Yeah, they need to carry some detection here. Something I feel like Fnatic throughout this game have been a bit lax on, and immediately yeah. Should have maybe bought that gem before the TP in, but he did miss the hook, so it wouldn't have mattered. James instantly goes to clear out one of the 2 shrines. The less important of the 2 not being around the Roshan, although he actually gets cold feet, decides it's not worth risking his life for.
Yeah. And this is the point in the game where all of that aggression that happened earlier might need to be slowed down a little bit, would you say? Like, with the buyback statuses and making sure that they have it before they actually go in.
Yeah. I think you wait for a better pick-off and initiation. The Rupture hook combo has been the big way they've been able to kill big key heroes. Puck's level 25 is coming soon, so their late game actually looks pretty potent with Dagon 5, Ag Scepter Puck. This Puck has not been like a super fun Puck by any means, but all the fighting has led to a lot of experience.
You also have Febby, who just got into that level 20 GPM, 150.
Yeah, he almost found the hook on Pudge there as well.
Able to catch James. So yeah, a lot of action still brewing. 83 kills in this one. As you said, the 2 kills per minute is continuing, but we might see a little bit of a slowdown, or Fnatic just might run at them again.
They've got 3 GPM talents going. The Tusk gets 90, the Pudge gets his 150, and the Puck about to reach the beautiful 420 GPM. So they're gonna be rolling in gold. They can slow it down. They've got minus on Bloodseeker. I think the economy game definitely favors Fnatic moving forward. But in terms of big team fight, like it's not clear-cut that I think the late game is slightly better for Execration in terms of just their overall lineup composition because they've got a lot more disable, a lot more team fight, but there's just going to be these big crazy items that can kind of counter some of their heroes. The Ag's Dream Call from Puck could be really impactful. The Pudge Hook is just one of those spells that you never know how it's going to influence a team fight, so even though, like, as a whole, their team fight's better, it's going to be whether they can execute it in these chaotic settings.
And maybe eventually, too, you get into, like, the Witch Doctor, Aghanim's Death Ward. It looks like he's bought the... Oh, wait, he actually switched it up.
Yeah, he had the Ags queued up, but it looks like he's changed his mind.
Aether Lens instead. That's also really good. I mean, longer range as the Paralyzing Cask is going to be big for him.
He decides it's just an item he's more assured to finish off right now, and the Axe Death Ward, there's so many things that can cancel that Death Ward that it may just be a wasted investment.
You know what else we just got? DJ picking up the Aghanim Scepter on the Tusk.
Hell yeah.
All right, this is the other real one. The Bloodseeker Rupture into Walrus Kick.
Oh my gosh, that's so dirty. Anyone who gets... I can't believe he doesn't have an Axe. Like, there's so many good movement spells on your team. Like, the double Rupture would just be insane this game. I really feel that his next item, replace the Midas, get an Ags. His team just need to tell him, like, dude, you don't have to right-click them. If you Rupture them, they're so dead. Like, forget right-clicking anyone. You will do 5k hero damage just by rupturing people with hooks, with Walrus Kicks.
Yeah, this is really quite dirty. And the other thing is he has the Blink Dagger to get there in time to actually, like, make sure that it gets off. And well, if we thought the team fights were hard to follow before, my camera work is going to be taken for a ride here in a second because this is about to get gnarly. All right, the vision advantage is into the favor of Fnatic. They're hitting this shrine. The wraparound is coming from Execration.
Considering jumping? They run past them. They see Q. I guess they're looking for the supporting cast.
All right, yeah, Raging Potato just gets out. No, don't take that one.
Fair enough. Puck now with a Lincoln's as well. Interesting. He had the Dagon 5 queued up, opted to get something more defensive, so he can just place on some of his teammates, protect himself from that like hook shot into Rod of Atos initiation, or even just this insta stun from a Sanking Burrow Strike.
We also have the Blood Right cooldown there as well, so 5 seconds for a 6-second silence duration. It's pretty good in an AoE, not to mention just clearing out the creep waves is super value. But the game is definitely slowed a little bit. One misstep here, and the buyback status, it looks like on the side of the Dire, they have a couple. Radiant's still missing a few.
they find that initiation though for Fnatic. They're just trying to maintain their map presence here around this bottom lane. Fight around their observer ward vision. As I said, not necessarily in a big rush considering they've got all these GPM talents, the Midas Gold coming in. A lot of farm coming their way, and they can just patiently wait for Febby to find that hook.
Oh, Burrow, the blink away. God, that rupture
Got
damage
him.
brings him down to basically no HP. The Yule Scepter.
Should be very dead.
Yeah, they pull him back in a second time, and RR, no life here. They actually drop the gem inside the trees, and they will find that one, but no buyback for 96 seconds.
It's troublesome. They're immediately pinging out bottom. Looking to go for that second lane of Rax.
And this is feeling like the beginning of the ruination. Execration in trouble. As QO is going to assault high ground. I don't know. Like, we talked about the Dream Initiation, but what is that really going to be?
It's going to be Sven just bursting someone down. He really wants to go now, I feel, before the rupture.
There
he
it
does
is.
that.
Onto QO. Damage is there, but they're able to pull him back in with the hook again, and now they have the bite. The kick. Get the hell out of here. He's gone to the south side. The fight is still going on over here, but it's just Febby being that guardian angel, and it looks like maybe QO's going to end up going down. They managed to kill each other off. So both die. Actually, no, QO, excuse me. He got the Blood Rage off. He's able to live back up to full HP basically through that one. And now, truly, Execration in a hell of a lot of trouble.
DJ God is back, making some plays. Sven has to buy back. He really wants to get kills out of this, but there's another rupture.
Yeah, and that's Lina left alone, gets a Yule Scepter up. Nando doing a lot of damage, but still just going to be able to run away from these guys. He's so low, but also
Febby
so
hooked a
damn
ruptured
quick.
hero. It's going to be close. Oh, he gets it, and then he's out.
Nicely done there.
He hooked right at the end of the rupture.
Oh. Well, they got the rupture kill onto the Lina. Unfortunately, it ends up being still a QO going down for Fnatic.
It's still the Sven buyback's the big part there. The Sven to buyback just to hold your high ground. If he doesn't, he's alive now, could theoretically go for Roshan, get an Aegis to make up for that lack of buyback, but if Fnatic get this Aegis and Cheese and get a chance to push with Aegis, Cheese, and no buyback on Sven, you're looking at potentially a very dead Execration.
Yeah, it seems like Execration very aware that this is a possibility. They might just go in and try and see if they can run down Roche themselves.
See if Febby can maybe land a hook from his position here. He clears the neutrals.
Burrow's
Got it,
there.
actually.
Epicenter as well. The hook shot missed it. Man onto Nando instead. They end up body blocking each other, and now they're turning around this fight onto the Sven. He's in a little bit of trouble. Can he bring them down nonetheless? No, the force staff away.
Great forces.
They're too tanky. And DJ, the Walrus Punch, they're just controlling him for the moment. Kicks him away yet again, and Sven forced to run away, but it might be Raging Potato that ends up being the one left behind. RR can get out of this. Raging Potato, no hook shot for 15 seconds, and he's out of there.
Big finishing that kick away from the Sven. They may have wanted to just keep kiting him and try and kill him with the BKB down. That may have been a game-winning kill, but they were, of course, a bit worried about him. With the God Strength up and Bloodseeker still dead, securing Roshan is going to be the big safe play to make. Just so well kited. The Force Staffs, the Dismember onto the Sven BKB. Feels like he desperately needs a Lincoln. It's not so much maybe himself, but a teammate with a Lincoln. Some way to stop that Pudge from just locking him down, or the Walrus kick just from kicking him out. Every single time he's going in, he's just getting kited around.
Yeah, and that's even before the rupture is placed on him, which we haven't even had to see yet. It is Bloodseeker going back for the Scotty instead of the Ags. I mean, at this point, it still feels like they're in enough of a lead that it's not going to be game losing by any stretch of the imagination. But
this is like the more, I think if anything, like the safer. It's like you're not all in on the rupture. You're very stat heavy, tanky. You can frontline. He's actually the building hitter. Something we kind of question, like how do Fnatic hit buildings? They don't really, and we've seen it. They're actually only at 1 racks up despite winning a couple big fights because their lamp doesn't excel in hitting buildings. So the Scotty designed to at least slightly assist Bloodseeker in doing that.
Oh, and they're just going to bully somebody here. Oh, Nando, no, 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 no. There's the rupture. There's the pullback. There's the kick. He gets knocked all the way out of there. The bloody kick, the bloody punch. And Sven is gone.
That's dirty. So dirty.
The hook shot to turn it, but it is all for naught. They end up throwing out another one of those. The Brax is down. QO is killing off every damn person. They broke their spirits. They won the game, I do believe, unless we see something magical here from Execration, but this Bloodseeker is too damn big. Triple kill for QO. Oh, lordy, lordy. Oh, Burrow, okay, maybe trying to turn this one. They have the Maledict down. It's only onto the Pudge. They throw out another Blood Right. The Snowball save as well. all of them run into this clockwork. Hodgett on a killing spree. He throws out another hook, pulls back in Levick. He's dead as well. Poor Execration. They couldn't handle the rupture, and GG, well played's called.
What a exciting way to start off SEA playoffs, you know. It's like fun to watch a Pudge and a well-played Pudge, but then you have the Pudge hook with the rupture. The Walrus kicks comes in. This is like a viewer's dream game. You get Pudge, you get Ag's Tusk, you have a Bloodseeker. I mean, Puck's fun to watch. This was just such a beautiful game of Dota to watch. Highly entertaining. Kills all over the place. This game had it all.
That was great.
I'm loving it. Dota 2 is wonderful, beautiful game sometimes.
Alive and well in Southeast Asia for sure, if nothing else. That was an awesome one, and we get another one as well. Best of threes. It's time to happen. It almost feels like, do you first ban Bloodseeker? You don't do that, right? There's no reason.
I think you don't want to let Fnatic get too much in your head. You got to still focus on your own game a bit, but yeah, definitely want to worry a bit about what they're throwing your way. See if Execration can maybe get the hands on their Puck this time around. I don't think Puck was like a key hero. I mean, Ajit played well. It wasn't like the big playmaker, but it's definitely good to take that away from James. James had a really slow start, and QO excelled because he could just run at him, get these kills. If that's a Puck, he's got phase shift, he can orb away. Giving Execration these heroes that you can actually gank and kill is a big part for QO. He wants to be able to kill people. He doesn't want to be playing against this defensive lineup.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that that's going to be something to watch out for. I would imagine that Execration are going to have first picks, but we'll have to wait for that, wait for the draft, and we'll have the panel back in to talk about all the madness that is Fnatic Dota. We'll be back in a few. SEA playoffs continuing right after this.